Been looking for a house with no walls or no whispers, no hiding places, no secret sister. Been looking for a house that won't shelter a lie, no tear-stained past or reason to cry. I wanna live, live, live in a house of love. I wanna live, live, live in a house of love. I know there's a place where every heart is free.
Hello, and welcome to Empowering Women Everywhere. My name is Nan Gill Wilson, and today our guest is Danielle Lowe. She's the founder and chairman, or chairwoman, I should say, of Baby Steps. Hello,
Hi, thank you for having me.
how are you?
Good.
Good. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started your organization?
Absolutely. I was born and raised in Queens. I came up here in the 90s for college and never went home. I've been a teacher for over 15 years. I've taught all grades from pre-kindergarten to 7th grade with the exception of 6th. And I've also taught undergraduates and graduates at SUNY New Paltz for about 10 years. And I love teaching. I love working with grown-ups because they have that passion, and I love working with the little guys and helping to see that spark. So I have a strong passion for early childhood literacy, which is what led me to my nonprofit corporation.
Okay. What was your experience that you decided that it was very important for us to have reading done to our babies at a very early age?
Okay.
What led to that?
I was fortunate enough, in 2006 I worked in classrooms in Ireland, and I worked with administrators and educators, and I learned about their early childhood literacy promotion over there. Then I also had the opportunity, I presented my research at Pembroke University in Oxford, England, and I worked with the teachers and the administrators there as well. And what I noticed was in Europe there is a much larger push. For example, in Dublin, there's a homeschool liaison for each school, and that person is assigned to people in the neighborhood. If someone gets pregnant, they have monthly check-ins with the person just to provide them with information and support that they need, explaining how important it is to read to babies. And then once the baby's born, they still will check in generally, I would say monthly, until the child is ready to go to school, but they constantly have support from the school. And when I came back to the States and I shared my mission, I noticed there wasn't too many programs like that in our area, and I tried to share my vision with a number of people, and I kept hitting dead ends, so finally I decided to just do it myself.
Well, that's good. And what does the acronym stand for, Baby Steps?
Okay. We're actually Baby Steps Towards Endless Possibilities, Inc., and that's Baby Step. The acronym is STEP, Inc. And the website is babystepinc.org. So
Okay.
it's just it's our team collaboration trying to promote literacy in all areas, but especially in high poverty areas or children that need our help the most.
Right, right. And what are the overall goals of your program?
Basically what we do is we organize baby gift bags, and I have a board of 5 wonderful educators that help me, and we create these little baby gift bags, and inside the baby gift bag there's literature. So this is from the National Institute of Literacy, but it just gives little ideas about reading to babies and how important it is. We've also created our own pamphlet in English and Spanish, and it's just something that I created on my own as a kindergarten teacher. The important things of like the letters of the alphabet and pointing to the pictures when you're reading. And then the, excuse me, we also provide them with a baby book. So there's 2 in this. We usually will give 1 book. One's for Spanish-speaking parents, one's for English, but new baby board books. So this way we're hoping to give the baby their first gift, which is the gift of reading. And hopefully, from my experience in the past, I'm an ESL kindergarten teacher, and what I noticed over and over again is a lot of my Spanish-speaking parents were not reading to the babies thinking that it would confuse them by reading in a different language, when that's not the fact at all. It's really that interaction. There's so many different parts that we're going to talk about that come into the play of reading.
Right.
So in my opinion, it's just the educating parents and letting them know how important and what a difference this little couple-minute-a-day activity can do for their children.
Right. Now, you work in conjunction with Orange Literacy. So if someone has books that they want to donate that are from their children that are, or grandchildren that are no longer using them, you actually can give them to you, and then you'll bring them over to Orange Literacy.
Yes.
For people that are not as, you know, able to purchase them on their own.
Absolutely. Orange Literacy is wonderful. Christine Rolando, who's the director of Orange Literacy, is one of my Baby Step board members.
Okay.
So often, if I get books, we always accept books of all kinds. If they're used books, I'll give them to Christine so that she can use them for her organization. For the baby books, though, because they're going into the hospital and it's their first exposure, we have to be careful of germs. So for the program that we're doing right now, it's only for new books. But there's many locations, like Throw Library right across the street has that used bookstore, which is great. They have children's books for a dime. There's a lot of organizations that give books away for free.
Right.
So it's really, and there's links on the website too that will help to point people in the right direction, because even if financing is an issue, there's ways that we can help them.
Now, how many do you really try and get every baby that's born in Orange County? Do you try and get them to have a book, or the bags?
That's our future vision.
Okay.
Right now, we became incorporated in 2011. We're nonprofit status. It's something new for all of us, so it's been a very informative learning process. To date, so far, pretty much I fund the whole program myself. And most of the books that I have, I get from dollar stores and things like that. So I would say we probably provide between 30 and 50 baby gift bags each month to the hospital, but in reality, there's probably over 100 babies born per month. So at this point in time, we would like to do more fundraising opportunities and try to make it larger, but right now we're just so small and we don't have it yet. So that's a goal of ours.
So your passion is so strong that you're actually funding your foundation yourself right now at this point. Okay,
Completely.
so everyone out there is something for you to do if you want to contribute to this. And later on in the discussion, you're going to find out how important it is for babies to actually have these books and be read to. And this is why her passion is so great to fund it herself. What are the long-term benefits for them?
Okay. The long-term benefits, basically, here's another graph, and I'm going to try to explain this. This is cognition and the way we think, and I'm going to explain it in simplest terms. Basically, our brain cells are our dendrites are kind of like trees. They're like this. They don't touch each other. And they have to have an electrical impulse that jumps from one to the other. And the way that they do that is through sensory. So here is one of those things I was just showing you, a dendrite. Here's a brain cell, and here's another one that's zoomed in. When we are exposed to stimuli, we release neurotransmitters. They come out of one cell, and they have an exact match, a receptor on the other cell. If they find their puzzle piece match, it makes a spark, and that means that learning can potentially occur. Once that spark happens, it can either go into long-term or short-term memory, and your body decides if that's worth keeping that information. Should I move right into synaptic pruning? Okay. Okay, and this is another illustration of those brain cells we were talking about, and this is normal. So at 36 weeks gestational, you see synaptic formation here, and you can see there's a large growth, and we usually peak with synaptic formation, which is brain cells, around 2 years of age. We are born with more than enough brain cells that we will need in a lifetime. So what naturally happens is if you don't use it, you lose it. So around 4 years old, you can see between 2 and 4, we've already started synaptic pruning, and we have less. And we can function completely normal having these brain cells, but what my hypothesis is, if we can really immerse children during this time, it will help by giving them stronger associations to be more successful in the future.
What about the attachment theory?
Okay, the attachment theory. The attachment theory is very important in the sense that, here's another slide that I have here. The attention theory and family involvement. Individuals that have positive attachment during the first 3 years of life, they usually have stronger self-confidence, they acquire new information more quickly, and they have an ability to empathize with others and can communicate in a clear, calmer way, as opposed to children that do not have that opportunity. Between 1 and 3 years old, if they don't have that attachment theory, they lack self-esteem, they have trouble empathizing with others, and a major, basically what I'm trying to say is stress impedes cognition. I have seen that in every research that I have done in every academic area. When we're stressed, our brain releases another chemical which kind of inhibits learning. So if a child is worried about what they're going to eat at night when they go home, of course they're not going to focus that the letter A goes ah. So we have to meet those survival needs. So having a stronger attachment bond helps their brain cells, and also will help them later in learning. So even by just sitting with your baby on your lap, you're building that attachment bond.
Right. What are other ways of promoting literacy from a young age?
Okay. There's a couple of different things, and I have some fun things here. By modeling good behaviors, I'm not sure if you could see this little guy right here, a mom shared with me. This is her little guy reading his newspaper in his little recliner. Because children will mimic what they see. So at home, if parents are reading, if they're showing those positive behaviors, the kids want to be like their parents. So, when you have a parent that's reading for their own joy, usually the children tend to mimic that behavior as well, and also adopt a love for reading.
Right.
Communicating and socializing, asking open-ended questions. An example with vocabulary is, if you have a child and you want them to get something on the table, you can say, get that. Or you can say, can you please get the bottle off the table? Or you could say, can you please get that red bottle on the table, which is next to the sofa? So you're asking the same exact thing, but you're exposing them to so many more vocabulary words.
Exactly.
And also having them respond that way as well.
Okay, and what's the importance of play and exploration?
Okay. I'm a kindergarten teacher, so I'm all about play, and I think that hands-on constructivism is the best way, in my personal opinion, to teach children. So the importance of play is nursery rhymes has that rhyme that they hear, and kids are attracted to rhyme and songs. Daily conversations, repeated reading over and over again. As you know, if a child has a book that they love, they'll ask you to read it 50 times a day, where to us it's like, oh, not again, but to the child, they're hearing it. And ultimately, if it's the Cat in the Hat and you point to cat 50 times, they'll start to make that connection, like, oh, cat is C-A-T, or cat, k-k. So that repeated reading is a good thing. It's especially important for our bilingual learners. It's important for the children as well as for the parents, because it helps them. A lot of my students in my kindergarten class, they're going home and they're teaching their parents the English language. And according to William Glasser, 80% of what we experience can possibly go into long-term memory. 95% of what you teach someone else goes into your long-term memory. So by having our children, even if they're just reading to their pet, or if they're reading to their baby brother or sister, or reading to their stuffed animals, that's helping them.
Right.
And recommended.
So basically what you're saying is that, to sum it up, it's the bonding, the attachment, the play also helps, and the reading, when you even speak with your baby. I mean, the seen and not heard is not really what a good operation for raising a child. I mean, you want to discuss with them, interact with them, and really speak with them in involved sentences. What can you just kind of talk about? Say I'm a parent and I've just, had a baby, which was a long time ago for me, but at any rate, what would you say to me in the hospital when you come and talk to me and give me my gift bag?
Well, I would share the importance of reading with children in just as little as 2 minutes a day. You know, you're exposing your child, you're laying the foundation for future learning. And I know that they're
overwhelmed at that point.
Exactly. Right? I've seen there's a lot of technology out there, which is wonderful, as long as it's used in moderation. So I've had students come into my classroom that only play video games, never seen a book before. On my website, there's a list of apps, free educational apps and websites for parents that have toddlers and aged up to kindergarten. So this way, if they are going to be playing those video games, you know, it will expose them. It reinforces letter sounds and numbers and things like that.
Okay. And what's your website?
It's www.babystepinc.org. BABYSTEPINC.org.
And if they want to call you, what's your phone number?
My phone number is 845-524-4490. I also have a link for Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So my full name is Danielle F. Lowe. So usually you can, if you do baby reading and baby step, I usually will pop up right away. But I have former graduate students, well, that are now my colleagues, but 15 years later that are contacting me. I'm a nonprofit. I don't get paid for what I do, and I'm not looking for that financial compensation. That would be lovely, but it's really just to help kids, and I think that's our responsibility as a society to provide the best that we can for our kids.
So by reading to the children, you actually increase their brain cell capability.
Yes, and this is not a program, because I know initially I think individuals might be turned off from the idea because of that. There are certain programs out there that show flashcards that kids can learn things real fast, and I'm not saying that's a great thing or a bad thing. That's not what I'm promoting. What I'm promoting is just a love for books. So by just having a few books in the household that you talk about the books, you talk about the picture. In my study, my dissertation study, I'm currently looking for babies that are not read to. And I had a baby in the first video that literally took off his shoe and threw it at the book. And believe it or not, that's exactly what I wanted, because I'm trying to show that babies that are read to daily, they choose to, and all of those parents have reported that even after the study, the babies will come back to their mom or dad with a book.
With a book.
They want to hear it read again, and it's their choice. They're not throwing things at them anymore.
Right, right.
And what's very interesting, for my study, the ages are a bit older, but I had a mom initially last year. She was conducting the study with her 2-year-old, and she was pregnant, and when the new baby came, she asked if she could conduct the study with the newborn. And even though I can't use it for my studies, I was curious to see, and I said fine. And at 22 days old, the baby showed significant growth in attention span, which I didn't even know was possible before seeing it with my own eyes. So it does.
We're groundbreaking here at Baby Steps.
I hope so.
Very much so. Very much so. Okay. So how can people assist with your organization if they want to get involved?
Okay. Well, right now, the way that we're kind of rolling it out, the seniors at the Promenade, which is a retirement center over here, they help me to organize the books once a month. So we kind of sit at a big long table, and someone's in charge of tissue paper, someone's in charge of the book. So that's the way that we're organizing, which is easier because I used to do it all in my kitchen by myself. So it is very helpful. The things that we need, as I shared with the bag, we need the gift bags, tissue paper, paper to run off copies, or someone to provide copies. As of right now, I'm copying everything myself at home. I just recently went to Staples, and they had a wonderful, do I have it in here? They showed me a very nice pamphlet with the harder paper. Here it is. And they do a phenomenal job, but I think this was like something like $1.75 or $2 just for one.
Right.
And we're really at the bare minimum right now. So right now, like we're copying them from home. In the future, we'd like to upgrade a little bit, but really just donating books or even gift certificates to the dollar store. I have to be honest, most of my books and supplies come from the dollar store because you could get the most for your money there.
Right.
And usually right after Christmas, I bought out all the tissue paper after Christmas. I needed to
go
back
get
3
it
times.
at the discounted rate.
Yeah, but after like birthday parties or after Christmas, instead of throwing all those gift bags away, if they're in good shape, we definitely would take them.
Right. Now, you're a not-for-profit 501c3 corporation, so if somebody wanted to mail you a check, it's tax deductible,
Yes,
correct?
correct.
And where would they mail it?
Our mailing address is it's P.O. Box 547, Pine Bush, New York 12566. At this point, the checks would be payable to Baby Steps Towards Endless Possibilities, Inc. We are waiting to have the Baby Step be acceptable. We're in the process of switching our name over. All the information is on our webpage, so if they want to go to babystepinc.org and it says, how can we help? If you go onto that link, it will walk you through it. And people are welcome to call me anytime. During the school year, I'm a kindergarten teacher, so I'm not home during the day, but all messages I try to get back as soon as I possibly can.
Right, right. Very good. So when you've completed with your research, what is your plan after that? I mean, how are you going to approach the powers that be to have this more of a national program than just something that we're doing here on a local basis?
I think hopefully this will provide the data required to show the importance of early childhood literacy, and instead of putting all this money into standardized tests and things that really won't have as much as an impact, it's more of an assessment tool, we can be putting that into early child exposure so that children come into school better prepared and hopefully struggling less. At this point in the state of New York, kindergarten is still not mandated. So that means legally those kids don't have to come to school till they're about 6 years old, and as I shared with the graph before, that's way after synaptic pruning started.
Yep.
Yeah, so if we can get to them earlier, and it doesn't take, it's really just, providing the resources that parents need. It's just getting out into the community and sharing the importance of the program.
Exactly. Exactly. So, in summation, does reading to infants between the ages of 12 and 28 months impact their learning?
Yes, what I'm trying to do, rigor is one of those terms that we keep hearing over and over again with recent educational change that's happening. And with rigor, they have to have attention and engagement. So what I do when a child is reading a book for the purpose of the study, if a child's reading a book, I just watch their eye movement and I calculate if the baby's looking at the book or looking at the reader, that counts as an attention score. Where engagement, I'm measuring, one of the things that is personally important to me is that they are smiling more at the end of the study than when they started, which means that they're enjoying it more.
They're more involved. They're more engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
And they want to hear it over and over again. So I'm basically hoping that this is going to provide research that are needed to show that this is a, what should we call it? An area that really needs to be explored a little bit more. Right. And respected a little bit more.
What successes have you had and what difficulties have you encountered?
Okay. Successes, I have met amazing people. Even with my dissertation study, in my own mind, initially I was shooting to have babies throughout the United States, and that has exploded into babies from Australia and Canada and Malaysia and Singapore. So I would like to see that in the future. I had a mom from Puerto Rico that was interested in implementing Baby Step down there as well.
Oh, good.
So I think that there are other wonderful people around that are interested in getting the program up and going there, but until we have a good solid foundation here. But hopefully in the future there will be opportunities for growth, and like I said, everyone that I have met have really had a positive impact on me personally and professionally.
Basically, if somebody's watching this program and they're in a different state or in a different country, they should just get in touch with you, and you could help them set up an organization in where they're located.
Absolutely.
And you'll work with them.
Because even for the study, initially I was only taking babies with the misconception that if they weren't reading in English, it would affect my study. And then I realized that isn't, because I'm looking at eye movement, I'm looking at behaviors. Right. So I've even had participants in the study that are reading the stories in different languages, and it's still showing the same results.
Same results. Okay. As a woman that empowers others to better their lives through literacy, what advice would you give to other women that want to create positive change in this world?
It is a lot of work. It's rewarding, but I would say don't give up.
Right.
stay motivated and listen to your instincts. For most of my experiences, initially I was told no, and I could have easily moved on to something else, but I knew in my heart that wasn't the right answer, so I kept fighting for it. And that goes for me presenting my research in England, that goes to me working in Ireland, that even when I started Baby Steps, I had so much resistance at first. But I still continued to work hard. I networked with great people, and it can happen. So as long as you have that determination and that strength and that belief in yourself, that self-confidence, you just got to stay the path. Randy Pausch is it's one of my favorite books, is The Last Lecture. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but he always says that there's brick walls that are put up in front of us, and those brick walls aren't there to keep us out. They're there to show us how badly we really want something. and no matter how many times I read his book, it's a little tiny one, but no matter how many times I read it, I always get a different message out of it.
Right.
So, I mean, there's power in feeding your own soul, and when you're with like-minded people, beautiful things can happen. So stay away from the negativity and collaborate.
Right, and we will. We're going to be collaborating very soon. We're going to have actually we'll have an event soon.
Oh, great.
And to have everyone get together and kind of share where they're at and what they're doing. So if anyone out there in the studio audience is working on a project and they have the passion and the drive to make things better on the planet, please get in touch with us at empoweringwomeneverywhere.tv and let us know you're there so you can be part of the group that's moving together to make the planet a better place and to bring equality to all, as far as the reading and as far as the abilities and as far as what they have to work and tools they have to work with when they get older.
And we have a responsibility for our children. I think a lot of when we feel emotions, sometimes we will act without stopping to think that there's a little person watching to see how you're going to respond and learning from you.
Right,
so,
exactly.
When you're if you make a negative comment, it's your responsibility that you have to be the role model. Kids are going to do what you do, not what you say.
They do what they see.
Exactly.
Not what you say.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much. And you want to just tell us your website and your phone number again?
Absolutely.
Before we leave?
It is. My organization is Baby Steps Towards Endless Possibilities, Inc. And the acronym is Baby Step. And the website is www.babystepinc.org. My phone number is 845-524-4490. And once again, on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and my P.O. Box. My P.O. Box is 547 Pine Bush, New York, 12566.
And Danielle, thank you for all the good work you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
I've been looking for